afternoon, welcome to another Propagandacast Addendum with me, your host Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda and Analysis, here to cover you the latest patch coming up here, of course, with the release of the British expansion. Not the biggest patch, except of course for the entire British Army, coming along with 6 commanders, 3 and 3 sort of more paid ones, or well, premium. Basically, you can either earn them randomly for fighting or pay for them directly if you don't want to wait. And don't worry, for those wondering, I will later in the week make a video sort of reviewing all commanders, so you can sort of further make an informed decision, do you actually want them or not, if you're wondering, of course, if you're patient enough to wait anyway. So there you go, little heads up there. But this patch, of course, adds in the British Army, adds in a bunch of maps, including this Addendum checkpoint, bunch of other maps, a lot of 2 vs 2s, 3 vs 3s, and some 4 vs 4s. So only 1 vs 1 really. And some other sort of graphical improvements here and there. Effects have been improved, animations improved, such small details there as well. Further changes, sort of, there are gameplay changes, some balance changes, but overall, the sort of interesting one are the sort of gameplay changes. For example, flamethrowers have really sort of gotten an overhaul, less of an assault weapon to a certain extent, at least on the move. They sort of require to sort of stand still to get more effect. They don't quite, murder units quite as violently either. This is basically the critical chance will now be moved down to sort of 0% health, so it only happens when they're about to die anyways. But at the same time, to sort of reflect those sort of nerfs, the damage overall has been increased, plus it's actually given sort of a damage over time effect, meaning basically units hanging around, in particular units sort of defending, holding about in buildings and the likes, actually will take increased damage. And moving on, flamethrower, so dealing with the buildings, actually going to be more effective now than it was before. Flamethrower vehicles in particular will also that way be more effective as well. So flamethrower half-tech for the Germans, for example, is certainly going to be a bit more potent. Now can deal with the units that have dug in better, and so on. So that's, I think it's going to lead to some interesting things there, I think, but at the same time, just in the infantry hordes with flamethrowers, are probably sort of we're going to see less of that. Flamethrowers will still be good, but for the infantry, not quite that good. And flamethrower vehicles will probably see a bit more usage from now on. So there's some changes there. Grenades have also received some changes. They basically changed how they work. So they don't just basically act like a demo charge and blow apart a building just because you popped a few inside the vestibule of the local hotel. So less chance of sort of wrecking the entire thing through that. Some other changes to mines, so all sort of things have been stabilized a bit there as well. But really in that sense, the flamethrower sort of the bigger one. There's also been some changes to maps here and there besides the addition of the new maps. A bunch of them are really 1 vs 1s, 2 vs 2s, and so on. Interesting enough, Road to Kharkov still hasn't received a single change, despite being the one that really could do with one. And Stalingrad and Bistarevoda has been removed from the auto match list, so that's a plus as well, to put it mildly. And finally, the balance changes, nothing huge. Bridges now have more health and armor. Yeah, I know a few people are sort of going, yay, and the rest are going like, yeah, that's not going to do much for us now, is it? Oberkommando West Sturmtiger now has less AoE because apparently it didn't fit the explosion the Sturmtiger made, which I suppose is a fair decision, just seems a bit peculiar. Otherwise, Americans sort of probably got the biggest buff, if you will. Basically, their field defenses ability moved from 2 CP to 0 CP, and now the light anti-tank mine has been changed to a regular mine, and probably the modified M6 mine that the British themselves utilised, meaning, oh hey, more or less a certain mine, and now the rifleman can lay down. I suspect infantry company, which already was popular, is going to get even more popular. So look forward to that, German players, look forward to that. Command tank moved up 1 CP, Soviet howitzer does less damage, so it's less, overwhelmingly potent apparently, in that sense. Beyond that, there really weren't a lot of balance changes either. Basically the big thing was the flamethrowers, essentially. And a bit the grenades, again, don't work like demo charges. There's also reference to target tails, which is something used in Companies 1, but apparently decided initially not to use in Companies 2. But apparently they're bringing it back, so that could lead to some more fine-tuning there. And of course, again, you might ask, well, what about all the balance? That's just little. Probably because, again, they're releasing a full expansion, all the British, the focus there. But a few things. One is, they already mentioned them in patch notes, there's a balance preview upcoming. There's a balance mod, essentially you can download, then test out, meaning, there will be a patch probably not too soon after, and this is where all the big changes will be, just so they can focus more specifically and also bring in the British into it, thus ensure all 5 armies will then be sort of done together, except here we could sort of end up being a bit, a bit more particular. So this way they can sort of get all 5 there in when everybody can test them and sort of get it all properly done. And I'm sure they've got some ideas. Also, a little hint, or sort of little taste of what might come down the future road here. People have been digging around in the files and they found hints at several commanders for the armies, American commanders, Soviet, Wehrmacht, Oberkommando, Westkommanders, Pershings. Not a fan of that one. I'm still a bit worried where that could go, but you know, we'll see. We'll see. Calliopes have been found mentions of. Strafing runs for the Americans. Rangers have also seen mentions of, plus some cavalry stuff. So I imagine at this point they might be finally willing to pull in stuff from the Ardennes campaign. For the Germans, we also saw mentions of the Goliath, but also Hetzers. Yes, indeed, Hetzers, and even in fact some of the promotional images of screenshots, they actually got a Flammhetzer, so that could mean actually 2 Hetzers. I mean, basically, they can easily do it if they got the Hetzer, they can do the Flammhetzer, because they basically look the same, just one had a flamethrower in it to sort of, shoot flames. So basically, Hetzers, Flammhetzers, 2 for 1. Jolly good show there, if they do it. I hope so. But it'd be rather silly only to do the Flammhetzer and not do the proper Hetzer. So stuff like that. As well, references to flamethrowers for the Volksgrenadiers. Not sure how that's going to fit in. Doesn't make quite a lot of sense. Submachine guns or assault rifles or something else would fit better. But, stuff like that found mentioned in the files. Nothing I think we should take too seriously. But still, someone that has assets. And again, that stuff like the Hetzer. And again, they have it in screenshots. So, look it up. Some of the recent stuff for the free trial. I think 2 screenshots of it. Both has the Flammhetzer in it, shooting flames. Definitely not a Hetzer. You can't, miss that one. And of course, again, Pershings. A lot of skins for it. Again, Pershing, more or less, that's a Pershing. Stuff like that, basically. And again, if you've got 3 US commanders, so if I thought it was 4, that's probably going to be 3 Oberkommando West commanders. Look forward to those coming down the road there. And, probably going to happen right around the time, perhaps as the balance preview is done and we get the patch outs. Perhaps, late September, early October, maybe late October. I don't know. Hopefully soon, hopefully soon. So anyways, that rather covers it for the balance, video, but also, few hints at what might come down the road in the future, because, might as well sort of pad this video out. So hopefully this has been enjoyable and educational for you. Hopefully you're now a bit better suited and prepared for the patch that comes out tomorrow. And of course the bridge, and of course don't worry, I'll be making lots of Propagandacast Slayer on them. There'll be a review video discussing them and the commander, so don't worry, stuff is coming down the road there as well. But anyways, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. You did, feel free to share, spread the word, and so on. If you feel like supporting the Propagandacast, which is very much appreciated if you would like to do so, donate, as that is what allows me to keep doing these videos. A little donation here, $5, $1, $1 million, whatever, throw in if you can. Certainly helps me and allows me to keep doing this day after day after day. So, anyways, just a little hint there. Anyways, thank you all, and see you all tomorrow. Bye.